It's all about how we look.
You are welcome to stand as you're able and sing with us. The words will be up there.
We will.
Hold on to me as we go, as we roll down this unfamiliar road. Although this way is swinging us along, just know you're not alone. We're gonna make this place your home. Settle down, you'll all be clear. Don't give your mind to the demons that fill you with fear. And trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. We're gonna make this place your home. Come in from the dark of the night, free from fear, into the safety of light. You know we're here, opening the door. Just know you're not alone. We're gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't give your mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. The trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. 'Cause we're gonna make this place your home. Just know you're not alone. 'Cause we're gonna make this place your home.
We're in for a treat this morning, me and a mic. Okay. I want to welcome all of you. Good morning to Unity of the Hill Country, where we offer a positive path for spiritual living. Please join me in prayer. We give thanks for this beautiful day full of possibilities. We feel God's presence and power in us and all around us. We are truly blessed. Feeling wholeness, we extend this blessing to everybody. We bless all people, regardless of what they believe or whom they love. We know that there are many paths to God, many names for God, but only one God. And God is expressing through all creation. We come together this morning to experience and express in the Christ Spirit that dwells within us, each of us, and so it is. Amen. If you are joining us on Facebook from home, we would like to take a moment and welcome and connect through consciousness. Please feel free to comment and introduce yourselves. This is our time to be together and share in love. Feel free to post and tweet about Unity of the Hill Country, but please silence. offer practical, uplifting resources to help people of all faiths apply. I didn't touch anything.
You're good, you're good. Yeah.
I did nothing. There you go. Thank you. Let me start that over again. Unity is a global, inclusive, spiritual community, and we practice practical, uplifting resources to help people of all faiths apply positive spiritual principles. At Unity, we honor all paths to God. Please join me in affirming our mission and vision statements: to live consciously, celebrating the divine potential in all, and our statement of faith: there is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God, the good, the omnipotent. And Reverend Bob has a few announcements and a brief survey.
Well, we're going to forego the survey this week. I want to give you the results of last week's survey, because what we're going to do this morning is we're going to introduce you to the new members of the congregation, people who have applied for membership and the like. But if you remember last week, I was trying to get some feedback. One was, someone suggested that we form a circle near the end of the service to do the peace song, yes or no, and then would you purchase a Unity logo on a T-shirt, polo shirt, bumper sticker, clothing, patch. So yeah, if you'll go ahead and give me the next slide there. So this is the results. We had 32 people who said, yeah, that's good. Now we have 5 people who prefer not. So let's honor them. But as the person who suggested this to me said, how, when she did this at their previous Unity congregation in another state, you could just kind of feel the energy flowing through everybody there at the end. And there's been some science to prove how powerful that is. Would you purchase a Unity of the Hill Country bumper sticker? 12. Clothing patch or a button? 4. Polo shirt? 15. T-shirt? 19. And then I needed to let you know that you're not allowed to write in. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. But we had some other suggestions. A reusable grocery bag. V-neck T-shirt, sleeveless tank top, sweatshirt, yeah. So this gives me some good feedback. What I'll probably do is what I did at a previous congregation is we'll have an order sheet. You can order, the shirt that you want and the color that you want, that kind of thing with a logo on it. But like I said, Lisa gives us some sense as what we do, and like I said, we can get a button with the magnet on the back that most people seem to like, and something like that. So stay tuned. But yeah, like I said, we have some new members we want to introduce you this morning. So if those members will join me up here, and if Tina and Danny, 2 members of our board, are also going to help with this, I want to have a chance to introduce the 2 of you. And Dave, if you come on up here too, they're transferring from another congregation. So yeah. Let's. I think I'll have you guys go ahead and stand up here. Danny and Tina will do the honors in a minute. But yes, so I wanted to have a chance. Dave, how do you pronounce your last name? Anthony. Okay, David, and we've got Audrey here. Jim Putnam, who a lot of you recognize because he jumped right in to be an usher. Ina Thompson is a member of our Board of Trustees. Danny Donovan as well. And then we've got Melaine Arnold and her mother, Robin Stewart. So they're all new members. And what they've done is they have taken an orientation class with me so they understand what this weird Unity thing is all about. And as I mentioned, Dave and Audrey used to be members over at Unity Church of the Hills. That congregation over there in Austin kind of stole part of our name. But one of the options is if you become a member at another Unity church, that you can become a member here. Jim Putnam, I met while visiting the Museum of Western Art. So yeah, he's been coming here for a while. And then we got Lane and Robin, who sought us out. And Robin is actually a cousin of a long line of Unity ministers and religious science ministers, which we had fun comparing some notes here and me learning it all. And Melaine has also volunteered to help us with our bookkeeping and the like. So yeah. She's a retired lieutenant. Full bird colonel. Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody told me lieutenant colonel. Shame on me. Okay. All right. So, what does it mean to be a member? Recognize that, okay, this isn't some place you go for a show on Sunday. This is a place of a spiritual cooperative. We're coming together. We're helping support each other in our spiritual growth. These people have decided, okay, I want to be a part of that. Now, you don't have to be a member to come to any of our classes or to the Sunday services or any other programs we hold, but there's something kind of powerful about just being able to say, yeah, I'm going to plant my flag here. So, I'm going to ask you 4 questions. Actually, 3 questions, and I have to look at it. Just and basically answer I do. So the first question is, do you agree now to make your spiritual growth and a relationship with God a priority in your life, agreeing to take one class or read one Unity book each year to keep your spiritual growth going? If so, say I do. I do. Oh, and that's right. For those of you who are already members, you can reaffirm here too, if you wish. So yeah. Yes. Do you now agree to participate in this ministry and serve in some capacity, helping to strengthen the whole community while learning the values of selfless service to others? If so, say I do. Do you now agree to support the church through your tithes and offerings, acknowledging that this ministry is indeed a channel of spiritual food in your life? If so, say I do. We now acknowledge your commitment and welcome you as spiritual partners in our spiritual cooperative. We have 2 gifts for you today. One, Danny is going to give you a book, Sacred Secrets, and you'll recognize it's actually a compilation of writing from various Unity ministers after the movie Secret came out, but it makes a nice reader for going over various things. And then Tina's going to give each of you a rose. And of course, in addition to representing love, etc., the rose also has this amazing metaphor for our life. It starts out as a bud, it unfolds slowly but surely. There's fragrance, but there's also thorns. So we move forward in life and just honor that you have joined here today, and so.
Can I add something, Bob?
Yeah.
This congregation is like a big puzzle. The Lord directs the pieces to come through that door.
Mm-hmm.
And they try to fit. If they don't fit, they'll leave. But if they do fit, they join the family. They make the picture come true. A pile of puzzle pieces is nothing until you put them all together.
I like it. Yeah. We have a Unity blessing I'll read through once, and if you will all join me in blessing our new members. Let me say it first. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. Let's say that together. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. Thank you. Okay. If you do want to stand up here the rest of the morning, you can. Connie, the lectern is yours.
Back, it gets a little lonesome up here. Come on. It is Celebration Sunday, the first Sunday of the month, and we take time to honor birthdays and anniversaries, answered prayers, and everything in between. And if you have something you'd like to celebrate, please stand, and an usher will bring the microphone over to you. I don't think that's going to happen, but talk loud so we'll know. And you can make your joy known to us all. Tina,
Well, my birthday is the 10th of February. My youngest son is the 16th of February. My oldest son is the 20th of February. And there's always Valentine's Day. So that's a very fattening month in my life. Three of my best friends in life, their birthdays are all in February.
well, Tina is celebrating a lot of birthdays and love that she's had in her heart because of her family being born in February. Yay. That's right. That's right. Okay. Thank you, Tina. Carolyn?
I'm celebrating my birthday this month. I'll be 36.
Carolyn's going to be 36 again, 36 this month, yes, okay. Anybody else? 45, okay. Ray?
Y'all all bless me every day. Thank you very much.
Ray gets blessed and we bless him too every day. And he gives great hugs.
23 years of marriage.
23 years of marriage to Dave and Audrey, thank you.
40 before that, but with somebody else.
Patsy? And, and we love you for being here. Thank you, Patsy. Thank you. Anything else? Okay. I celebrate the fact that I'm going to get a new dryer in a week. Believe me, it's a celebration. The neighbors are tired of looking at my pajama pants. Okay. Please join us in blessing our celebrants with our affirmation up here on the screen. We love you, we bless you, and we behold the Christ you are. This morning, we're going to have our daily word read by Norma Leonard. Norma?
Good morning. The Christ candle is lit, signifying our unity in Christ. And we're going to join with all the daily word readers around the world. I think I better turn this over here and find the right page. Join with me in saying our affirmation this morning. My faith is making me well. Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore's healing journey began when she changed her mind. Inspired by the words of a healing practitioner, she took this affirmation to heart. I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. After 2 years of persistent health affirming meditation, prayer, and practice, Myrtle was healed. Her faith made her well. Myrtle Fillmore lived joyously and vigorously for many years. I take inspiration from this story. I too am a living expression of God. I feed my body's quickening response as I claim my inheritance of divine life, vibrantly active in every cell of my body. Good nutrition, exercise, and rest support my healing practice. My faith is making me well. And from Mark 5, verse 34, he said to her, Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your disease. And let's repeat one more time our affirmation for today. My faith is making me well. Thank you.
The Unity movement started in 1889 with answered prayer, a prayer for healing of a fatal illness. We are honored to pray with you. Place a prayer request in our lobby prayer chest or email us. An usher will now bring our prayer chest forward. Thank you, Linda. Please join us in singing our congregational song, which is "The Morn of Truth is Breaking." The lyrics are on the screen, and the music team will help us with the melody. Following that, we will prepare for meditation.
Each a spiritual being having a human experience. And in that experience, we know the truth. We are open and receptive to God's living spirit of truth. If you haven't already, just close your eyes and relax. Allow all of the anxiety or frustration or anything else that might be standing in the way of you knowing your oneness. Feel your feet flat on the floor with a groundedness as if you're growing roots. Feel the back of the chair against your back. Notice your nostrils as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Let's now breathe in to the count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Allow any illusion of separation between ourselves and God to just melt away. We are open and receptive to God's living Spirit of truth. And in unity, whenever we settle to meditate and pray, we take a moment to pray for others. Bring to mind any individuals, any groups, any circumstances you'd like to pray for now. We include all of the prayer requests received in writing here in our prayer box and received on our website, unityhillcountry.org, the prayer request form there. And now let's just see each of these requests unfolding in divine order. We know that the divine substance, the divine potential, and the divine perfection are in and expressing through each of these requests as their highest good. Let's now pray for unity of the Hill Country. Let's see this marvelous cooperative thriving in consciousness, people, and revenues, today and every day hereafter. The God presence as unity of the Hill Country is a divine magnet, attracting anyone who can benefit from who we are and what we are about, attracting health, prosperity, love, and joy to unity of the Hill Country and all who are guided here, today and every day hereafter. I now encourage you to take these words I'm about to speak as your own prayer words in this meditation this morning. I place my faith in God. I trust that a plan will be revealed. As I work slowly but steadily with the creative process, I now see my project coming together. As I prepare for 3 minutes of silence, I embrace and express the divine idea of faith in the silence. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am grateful. As I move forward in this week, participating in working on a project with my creative energies, I will start to gather my clues. I recognize that my intuition is the best thing to lead. I ask of my actions, is it loving or is it fearful? I ask, is this truly me or is this not me? And as I sort through my clues, I ponder what it is I want to create and what it is I want to release. I place my faith in God. I trust a plan will be revealed. For my ever-growing awareness of the omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence of God, I open my heart chakra and pour forth gratitude. I pray these things in the name and the nature and the power we know as Jesus Christ. And as we draw our focus back to the sanctuary, I'll read the invocation written by our co-founder, Charles Fillmore. We are now in the presence of pure being, and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. We acknowledge thy presence and thy power, O blessed Spirit. And by divine wisdom now erase our mortal limitations. And from thy pure substance of love bring into manifestation our world according to thy perfect law. Amen. Let's sing together the Alleluia chant. I'm going to give you all a virtual hug and say good morning. Back about 60 years ago, the head of the Harvard Medical School was taking part in some autopsies to just help keep his skills sharp. And they were fascinated at what they found as they were doing an autopsy on a healthy young man. He had been killed in a car accident. And as they're going through the autopsy on his body, they're discovering all of these things that were pretty obvious that certain illnesses had arisen, but his body healed them. Various scar tissues and the like, and he just befuddled. And of course, Harvard, like so many other medical schools, has been putting a lot of effort into figuring out what causes illness and disease. Fillmore, way back at the early part of the 20th century, kind of latched hold of that idea. Do we create our own illnesses in some way, through just an error of a thought or a feeling or a belief? And of course, medical science, especially over these last 30 years, wow. The genome has been mapped. They can actually now splice a new gene into your body, help you heal. You look at all the medical technology that has been invented, things that is discovered. But what they notice is that a lot of people, especially when they're trying to deal with an illness or a disease, is they're trying to find that magic switch they can flip and then heal. And for some of us, through various observations and also experience, we have witnessed, various people maybe having to pray for a long time before healing comes, and yet other people, it happens in a couple of days. What's that all about? We are now in the third week of a series of lessons I've done on the creative process, how our mind works, how we get these ideas and how we put them into action. And if you've missed any of the previous ones, that's fine. We've got them on our Facebook page. We also have them on our YouTube channel there under Unity of the Hill Country. But we have this interesting approach to the Bible in Unity. We look at the Bible, recognize the narrative stories all have this embedded symbolism. And this was all kind of brought into a book called the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary that Unity publishes. And the first chapter of Genesis, the let there be light stuff, is actually symbolic of how we use our minds to create in the world. And it gives us some clues as to where we may have thwarted that process, especially now in the industrial age. So last week I talked about the first day is, let there be light, and there was light. Let's take a look at the second day. Genesis chapter 1, starting with verse 6. And God said, let there be a firmament between the waters to separate the water from the water. So God made the firmament and separated the water under the firmament from the water above it. And it was so. God called the firmament sky. And there was evening and there was morning the second day. Now, in some of the translations of the Bible, they actually have the word heaven here instead of sky. And of course, in Unity, we recognize that heaven, we've got these two kingdoms that Jesus talked about, the kingdom of God and the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of God is the absolute realm that is always there, never changes, available to us now as it was 2,000 years ago and 2,000 years in the future. And then the kingdom of heaven. And the kingdom of heaven is symbolic of our growing awareness that we're spiritual beings having a human experience. God created a firmament. Now, you have to understand what people believed about the earth back 2,000 years ago. There was like, okay, we were in a bubble underneath a canopy of water. And then, of course, there was water underneath us that would bubble up from the ground and run down the rivers. So there needed to be this place where we could create. And that's the symbolism there. It's like, okay, this place, we need to make some room in our life for what we want. And part of that process is letting go of things we don't want, which we'll be doing in the coming weeks, and then recognizing, okay, what exactly do we want? So he separated the waters from the waters. There needs to be a place where the possibilities can express. So our second day, the theme is faith. One of our 12 spiritual gifts are 12 powers. We have faith. Now, there's a difference between belief and faith. We can believe in anything. Just go on the internet. But faith is really only effective when you place it in God as you know God to be. We can believe in divine ideas, and then when they come to us, we can know that we can express them. I've heard people say, I don't have any faith. It's like, everybody's got faith. It's just a matter of, are you nurturing it? Are you bringing it forward? Are you placing it in things that will be healthy for you or not? Faith is the perceiving power of mind linked with the power to shape forms, atoms, molecules, the substance of the universe. We take it one step at a time. We cannot take all of these 7 steps at once. The 7 days represent periods of development or degrees of mind and unfoldment. So, I'm asking you to be patient over these 7 weeks, and part of that is showing that a lot of times, especially with the development of the short attention span, we'll get an idea and we'll go with it. And the process back, especially in the agricultural years, was that things grow a little bit more deliberately, a little bit more slowly. So this first week, let there be light, it's like, okay, the ideas to come. Now it's like, okay, let's write down the ideas, but don't take action on any of them quite yet. Last week I mentioned, the CSI Miami out there. There'd always be that clue that they get early on that turned out to be totally wrong. I remember one episode they were investigating a crash landing of a plane, and the pilot, it looked like he had been shot. And as investigating this, what they discovered was like, no, as the plane depressurized, a rivet on one of the doors ripped loose and flew through the pilot's back, But up until they realized that, they were just going on something completely different. We have a tendency, and that is for our mind to wander. So where are we focusing our attention? In the Hindu traditions, it's like, okay, we have this monkey, rhesus monkey or spider monkey that's, all over the place. And I know we were talking in the meditation circle on Thursday one week about one of the techniques I learned is you need to give that intellectual thinking nature of yourself something to work on, something to focus on, so that you can have a clarity of mind. I remember actually having a conversation with a psychologist years ago where he said, oh, I could never clear my mind. Well, you're not supposed to clear your mind. You're just supposed to open your mind, to the ideas that are coming in. So if we can give this monkey, or let's use a different metaphor, a dog, you give the dog a bone and the dog is focused for a while, So that's why you have this tradition of the mantra, the guru just repeating a word over and over again. In unity, I've used, I am, God is. I am, God is, And no matter how hard I try, my mind just goes wandering off it. Okay, how often has your mind wandered just since I stepped up here? So, did I leave the lights on in the bathroom? Wonder where we're going to go eat lunch today. All of these various things that just surface because that intellect wants to work things out. It is a component of us, though, and should not lead. Joseph Campbell's wonderful series of interviews, The Power of Myth, just before he died, talked about how that's one of the challenges we have in the modern world. We think the head needs to lead. He goes, no, there's a humanity down here, an intuition that needs to lead. But you can put, minds to work on what the intuition gives us. Now, I mentioned last week, we've got these 4 causes that, grew out of the Socrates and Plato and Aristotle thing. Let's go ahead and put up those 4, the physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. We have these 4 ways that we experience the world, and then we've got these 5 general categories, and this was the handout last week, and like I said, if you're watching on Facebook, we can email it to you if you just email us. The fascinating thing, though, when you look at this is that, okay, you've got the emotional, intellectual, and spiritual, which all happen in the mind. But the physical is here in the physical world. So the idea is to be able to take those other 3 energies and to be able to focus it on the things that we want here in the physical world. I know Aristotle used the example of a chair. Okay, you have this idea for a wooden chair. It sure would be nice to sit down, and so if you just go and start cutting down wood, it's like you got to have a plan first. So this is where, okay, the emotional, I want to sit down. Okay, and then you put the intellect to work. It's like, okay, do your research or talk to someone who knows what they're doing, and you come up with your blueprint, and then you craftsman or whatever goes to work and can finally make the chair. Now, after all of these weeks, I can finally sit down. But what happens, in so many things in our life, and like I mentioned before, as far as the substance of the universe, everything is vibrating energy. And so we have the opportunity through our thoughts, through our beliefs, through our spoken word, through writing down our goals, to actually play with this energy, as if it's Play-Doh or something like that. So how do we express our spiritual inspiration? The challenge has been is that there was a good period of time where the idea was, okay, it's all about logic. Put your energy into using logic to figuring things out. I know some of you remember the 1983 movie War Games, where Matthew Broderick is a budding young hacker. And he's poking around on the internet, and he finds this website, and he gets into it. It's got these war games on it. So he thought, I'll partake in the war games. What we discover as the movie's unfolding is at NORAD, it turns out it's the computer system for NORAD, where they game out for war games. And suddenly, the colonel there is like, wait a minute here. It looks like there are missiles incoming from Russia, and then suddenly they disappear. And so the computer scientist who invented this whole thing said, we need to show the computer the futility of logic. The war games is based on this concept that, okay, if we have a nuclear warhead, Russia makes a nuclear warhead, so then we have to have a second nuclear warhead. So Russia has and we're going through this thing where we've spent billions of dollars on nuclear warheads because we need a deterrent. And so the creator of the computer tells the computer to play tic-tac-toe, but play it against itself. So if you've played tic-tac-toe, which I'm guessing just about everybody in the room has, you discover that you get to a stalemate pretty quickly unless somebody lets the other person win. So here the computer's playing, and so, okay, all of these nuclear war scenarios, and then finally at the end the computer gives up and says, oh, okay, I'd like to play a different game. And that's, and some of you remember from the 60s, it's like the Vietnam War. It's like, well, Commander, we had to destroy the village to save it from communism. That's the kind of logic where logic can take it. But then we kind of have this swing into the feminine energy and the emotions and feelings. It's like, wow. Being able to have compassion for each other. But feeling in nature can lead to some very strange value judgments. And then if you link it up with the logic, you get the interesting people out there who think, okay, well, abortion is murder. So if abortion is murder, we have to stop the murders. And the way we stop the murders is to murder the doctors who are doing the abortions. So when people debate, should I follow my head or should I follow my heart? There's another option. Follow your gut. Follow your intuition. It sorts things out. Now, you'll see that these four aspects are in so many of our artistic, for example, as a young boy, I'd watch Star Trek on TV. You got Jim Kirk, you got Spock, you've got Bones, and you've got Scotty. So think about it. Okay, Spock was logic. Fascinating. Then, of course, Bones, the doctor's like, damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a magician. And then Scotty's like, oh, if we keep going like this, the battery's going to wear out, the engine's going to blow, But then you had this presence, James T. Kirk. It's like, it's okay, Scotty. Just go ahead and throttle up the engines. We'll just trust and know, And so that's the thing that goes on inside of us. And if we can take that intellect and that emotion to say, follow the intuition, then things start falling into place in a better area. So last week we were affirming let there be light all week. And like I said, be patient, but start to write stuff down. I hope that you've set an intention to come up with some sort of a project. And like I said, that first week, what project would you take on if you knew that you could not fail? Are you willing to step out on that? So in this week, we said, let there be light, let the ideas start to flow. And now it's like, okay, the ideas are coming in, but before we jump on that horse and ride it, let's make sure it's been fed and is healthy. Let's go ahead and start sorting things out this week. So what I'd like you to do is, with a notebook or something like that, sort it out, whether you want to do it in piles of, yes and no, or if you want to have columns in your notebook, whatever it is, start looking at these things and asking various questions. Don't jump to an early conclusion. I don't know how many of you watch police procedurals. Carla and I enjoy them to a point. But have you ever seen a murder board? You know what a murder board is? It's a whiteboard where the detectives, they've been gathering clues. If someone's been murdered, it's always the spouse. Hey, she had it coming. but no, sometimes it's like, okay, let's not go with the first clue. So, you got the victim, here's a suspect, here are people of interest, they write down things. Some personalities kind of appreciate having that written out. So make your murder board in your notebook or whatever, just start to sort things out. So the clues in looking at it is like, okay, what do I want to create? And what do I want to release? So we have these two categories that we're sorting through this week. Let your intuition decide rather than your thinking or your feeling. We ask, in the Course in Miracles, there's that idea that there are two major polarities. There's the love polarity and the fear polarity. And all things grow out of these two. Is it loving? Is it nurturing? If it's fearful, some people think hate is the opposite. No, hate is a reaction to fear, to give you this delusion that you're in control. So start asking yourself, okay, is this me or is this not me? Is this loving or is this not loving? And we got to be careful not to make the mistake that if it's right for me, it's right for everybody. That's why we've got so many religious denominations. Do you know that there are 80 different Baptist denominations? And what happens is, you'll get someone like me, who has this realization of now I get it, and I feel spiritually connected, and I'm a spiritual being, every human experience. But then it's like, and all of you have to do it the same way I did. It's like you start to think. What jumped in my mind is a guy down in Hollywood, Florida, was coming out of addiction, and he's thinking, and he gets it. And he decided he wanted to be a guru, and he was basically trying to peel people off of the congregation to follow him, because after all, he had been sober for 6 months, So he was a bit of a challenge, an interesting personality for me to have to deal with. That still small voice, that we talk about. Is it loving? Is it fearful? Whatever. So next week, we're going to work with your yes column or your yes pile. Let's take a look at this week's takeaways. So you're pulling together your clues. Rather than letting your logic or your emotional lead, go ahead and let your intuition lead. Is it loving or is it fearful? Is this who I really am? And then in your two piles, look at, okay, what do I want to create? But also, what do I want to release? We're going to be working with that in a few weeks. There's this tradition in Christianity and in others of the sacrifice. Of course, it was around long before Christianity, of being able to sacrifice something valuable to you so that you can, have the blessings of God. Well, it is possible to take something that we want to get rid of and sacrifice it. We've put a lot of time, energy, and emotion. Look at how much mileage you've gotten out of your affliction. Wouldn't it be nice to finally just let it go? to put it on that imaginary altar and, and apply a glancing blow. And then the affirmative prayer for this week. Like I said, last week we did let there be light, so now it's like I place my faith in God. I trust a plan will be revealed. So those are the takeaways I'd like to see you focus on this week. Our closing video is a 3-minute video from Steve Hartman of the CBS Evening News.
Flowers. Here's what she
For as long as her parents can remember, 11-year-old Brianna Carsey has had this crazy dream. She has always wanted a broodmare, a mommy horse, that would give birth to a baby horse that would grow up to become a racing champion.
Absolutely. This was a fairy tale for her from day one. We put it off for 5 years almost because we don't have a farm. So we got to go rent stalls somewhere.
This sounds expensive.
Yeah.
Why don't you say no?
Well, as she'll tell you, she has me wrapped around her finger.
Her foal, an Ohio Standard bred, was born in the spring of 2013. She named it MJB Got Faith. MJB for the initials of the kids in her family, and Got Faith for the faith she instantly had in him.
I really loved him.
From the beginning.
He's super soft too.
Sweet. But that quick bond posed a real problem for this pushover dad.
Here, bud.
See, for whatever reason, Brian thought once he explained to his daughter that her horse could never race, that it was a runt from poor breeding stock, she would just agree to sell it. But obviously not.
She's like, there's no price, Daddy. So I'm talking to my wife. It's like, we've really got ourselves in a mess here.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we're going to get out of this. So we stake him to the races.
This horse that doesn't belong in the races.
The horse that I thought we should have gotten rid of already.
He was more about the money.
What were you seeing that your dad wasn't seeing?
He didn't believe in him.
Brian was stuck, committed to boarding and training this long shot to end all long shots.
Yep.
And this is not a wealthy family. Brian runs a small logistics company, and Ohio Racing, which is harness-style racing, is a $900 million a year industry.
I want to see him go fast.
MJB Got Faith was so slow he barely even qualified to compete. But then somehow, someway, won his first race. Won his second race, his third, and his fourth, qualifying him for the state championship held recently in Columbus, Ohio.
And I said, baby, if you finish third, you should be so thankful. She goes, Daddy, if he finishes last, I'm going to be thankful. But he's going to win.
And so it was that this little horse with no pedigree, this pet with no reason for being here beyond the blind faith of a little girl, won an Ohio Sire Stakes championship.
She said, Dad, I told you got to have faith.
Brianna took home $100,000 that day. She has already given away half of it to charity. And as for the other half, she plans to use that money as a down payment on a farm.
I just want to have a farm and be able to go walk out my back door and see him.
And that's her plan for happily ever after. Just a girl, her horse, and knowing her father.
Dad, can we please get a cat?
No.
Probably a cat, too. Steve Hartman, on the road in Connorsville, Indiana.
Sometimes you just know. From the letter to the Hebrews, 11th chapter, 1st verse. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. May you always be open to God's guidance and grace. And now we have the song, Be Thou My Victim.
Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to me, sing that thou art. Thou
If this is your first time at Unity, we are glad you're here this morning. We hope you're finding a place of like-minded people and a place to belong. We teach spiritual tools that can help you no matter what's going on in your life, and generosity is important to us. We will donate $5 to a local charity of your choice if you'll just write that on your email on the card in our welcome packet and leave it in the office. We don't want to put you on the spot, but raise your hand if you're here for the first time, and our ushers will give you a nice welcome packet. Good morning. Okay. You can also pick one up on the way out if you'd like to. Excuse me. We now have an opportunity to support our spiritual cooperative. If you would like to donate by credit card, you can go to our website, unityhillcountry.org, and click on the donate button. You may set up an automatic weekly or monthly contribution there. If you would prefer to mail us checks, please mail them to Unity of the Hill Country, 1016 Jefferson Street, Kerrville, Texas, 78028. And we thank you in advance for your generosity. Our ushers will now bring the offering baskets up now, and then together we will say our offertory blessing. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all I receive. I send it forth with my blessings and my love. We open our hearts in gratitude for these freely given donations, and we send these gifts forward through our congregation and into the world, blessing all that it affects. Thank you. We have a few brief announcements. Serenity Al-Anon meets at noon on Mondays, and if you have a friend or a loved one who's suffering from addiction and you need support, please visit Al-Anon. The Naked Now book study meets this Monday, February the 6th at 2 p.m. We still have one book available in the office if you don't have a copy, and it is available for an $11 love offering. Course in Miracles workshop facilitated by Charlie Diggs is moved to Zoom sessions, as Charlie will be traveling for some time. Please let us know if you're interested in participating, and we'll put you in contact with Charlie. Codependence Anonymous meets weekly on Thursdays at 8 p.m. The goal of this meeting is to discuss our difficulties with interpersonal relationships and is open to anyone who is interested. The Center of Calm Meditation Group meets weekly, 10:30 a.m. on Thursdays. Come and join some familiar faces and take some time to experience meditating with a group. Several members of the community have begun to meditate nightly at 10 p.m. We are creating a network of independent meditators at this time each night, and no need to contact anyone, just connect in consciousness. Studies have shown that meditation in a group increases its effectiveness. The meditation chapel over here will now regularly be open at 10:15 on Sundays for pre-service meditation. Me and Juliet, a Rodgers and Hammerstein musical, is showing at the Callow Theater. Showings are at 7:30 p.m. on Friday and Saturday and 2:30 p.m. Sunday matinees for the next 2 weekends. If you need any more information, you can give an elbow to Brad and he'll fill you in on anything you need to know about that. Starting the week of February 8th, Reverend Bob will lead book discussions, and the book will be Prosperity's 10 Commandments by Reverend Georgiana Tree West. The discussions are 90 minutes, and they last for 6 weeks for 90 minutes each time, and is offered at these times: Wednesday at 1 p.m., 3:30 p.m., or 5:45 p.m. Thursdays at 2:30 p.m. or 5:30 p.m., and Saturday at 12:45 p.m. There are some copies available in the office for $15, which is our cost. If you would prefer the ebook version, we can mail you the link. And sign up or contact the office so we know who's coming. Join our new Facebook group, Unity Spiritual Network. It is for you to share your prayer requests, good news, discuss spiritual topics, and share inspirational posts with our spiritual community that are in alignment with Unity teachings. If you would like an opportunity to serve our community, please be a Sunday host, an usher, daily word reader, participate in the choir. Let us know with sign-up sheets in the lobby. And following our service today, we hold our annual business meeting. We will have a 5-minute break and then get down to business, and please attend if you are able. And with that, we have come to the end of our gathering. Please join us in peace song and follow it by our prayer of protection.
In a circle.
In a circle, okay. Circle up.